Hello everyone, I'm here doing a little tea evolution video. I just wanted to do a little bit of a tea chat video. I do have some videos that I could do now that I just don't really want to do. I want to wait a little bit, like 2 tea hauls that I've done way before I started my band. But I want to make a dent in some teas before I can actually go into those hauls and like try those teas, and then I'll do a video. But for the buy ban, I don't really have any temptations to buy more tea because I'm like, okay, I have so many great teas I need to drink and I want to drink. So yeah, fingers crossed it lasts me a while before. I know DavidC has launched their spring collection, so they re-released like a coconut oolong tea that hasn't been around since like 2015. They brought back lime gelato for frequent steepers, pumpkin chai, and they brought back like cherry blossom, mango fruit punch. Yeah, there's so many teas I could totally buy from DavidC, but I'm like, no, I don't really want to buy tea right now. I want to drink what I have. But let's get on with the video. So my tea evolution, I thought that'd be a cool video. I don't know if I've ever seen it, like a video where people talk about their evolution of a tea drinker. So new video. If anyone else does this video, let me know down in the comments. Tag me or wherever. Excuse me. So I have evolved so much as a tea drinker. Like, you know, with steepings, I would have like maybe over steeped, and you know, sometimes there are teas where I'm like, oh my gosh, why did they taste bitter? And it's like, okay, you gotta reduce the steep time you do. Like our certain teas like Buddha's blend, you can't oversteep that. That is such a temperamental tea. Like everyone is like, oh, it's so disgusting. People are like, no, you have to steep it at the right time, like good temperature. For me, it works for me how I steep it. Granted, it's been a while since I've had that tea, but I know how I steep it works. Let it cool down for like, once the water is done boiling, let it like cool down for 30 seconds and then steep for 2 minutes, and then that's it, and then it's good. I've heard some people do a minute, maybe even a minute and a half. Maybe if I really wanted to, I could do a minute and a half, but 2 minutes works for me. It is really nice tea, but yeah, it's been a while since I've had that tea. Or leaving the tea bags in. I can't see myself doing that anymore because I'm like, but the tea bag would kind of get in your way of drinking, and I don't really want that. But you know, maybe when I was like, you know, starting my tea journey, I would leave the tea bag in. Usually it was like an herbal, so that didn't really do anything for making it bitter because you can steep an herbal tea for as long as you want to, and sometimes it benefits from over steeping or for steeping longer. But there are teas like tea bags that I would use, like the Ginger Peach from President's Choice, the Superstore brand. That I leave the bag in the mug the whole time. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. I've learned to appreciate like plain flavored, like plain unflavored teas, like straight teas. I've always been a fan of green tea, but plain black tea is sometimes, I probably wouldn't have drinking it as much as I do now. I do have periods of times where I really want to drink a unflavored black tea. Right now I'm not totally. I'm just trying to finish up. I go in and out of phases of wanting straight black teas. You know, my favorites are like the breakfast teas or the Golden Monkey. Irish breakfast and English breakfast are really good. And shizzy. Like the Golden Dragon Puer from DavidC, that's really nice. And yeah, I've read like English breakfast, excuse me. I remember drinking that for breakfast time when I was on my Europe trip in like grade 11. So that was a fair amount of years ago, and after that it's like, oh my gosh, like great tea. Yeah, so there are many teas I drink now that I probably wouldn't have drinking when I was like younger. But even when it comes to like over steeping teas, like I remember Moroccan mint from David's Tea, I used to steep it for so long, like 3 minutes, like 30 seconds. I feel makes a big difference. Like I used to steep that tea for 3 minutes, but now when I drink that tea, it's gotta be like 2.5 minutes. And I'm a big fan of big mugs. Like the small teacups, I'm not a big fan of because it's just not enough. Unless you have a teapot of tea, but then I just want like one serving, but I want a big mug, like 16 ounce at least, 16 to 18 ounces. I do have mugs that are probably 20 ounce, and I used to drink those, like use those mugs so much, but right now I'm just not in the mood for those. Those are the Incredible mugs, the Incredibles mugs. They're like the slanted ones. I have one that has Elastigirl, so Mrs. Incredible, and she's like stretched to her limits, and then the other one has like the whole family. But I used to use those mugs a lot, but I haven't actually reached them. I still have them because I love them, but I don't actually use them. I really do love my double-walled latte mug from David's Tea because it's clear and it's so beautiful and it's a perfect size for a tea bag tea. And I do love my Nordic mugs from David's Tea. I have the koi fish one, the winter gnome one, and the sheep color changing one. Yeah, so I also have this weird thing where if it's like a Nordic mug, I can't do a tea bag in it. It has to be a loose leaf tea in my Nordic mug for some reason. I don't know if other people feel like that. Like if you have a Teavana tea, you can't have it in a David's Tea mug. That's kind of like me. Like I can't do a tea bag in a Nordic mug. It's got to be in the latte mug. And there was a time where I had my latte mug stored away, and then recently I was like, I need a big mug that can like drink tea bag tea. So I brought it out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect mug for having a tea bag. A bagged tea. Yeah, I guess this is a tea evolution. Tea evolution. And I definitely, when I like measure out my tea, it's probably less than like the average person. Like the David's Tea Perfect Spoon, I don't use the whole thing. I use like the David's Tea Matcha Spoon, 1.5 of for loose leaf. But I do get flavorful tea. Yeah, so I guess I would say I do like strong tea, but it doesn't seem to be too strong because I feel like if I use too much loose leaf, I'm kind of wasting it. But when it's a tea that you can re-steep, I do like to re-steep. But I find after 3, like oolong teas, I'll steep 4 to 5 times. Maybe a simple black tea, I may steep 2 to 3 times. Like the Golden Dragon Pu'er tea from David's Tea, I will steep it 5 times. And then after that, I kind of get bored of re-steeping. Because maybe, like, you know, I really like the Golden Dragon, but, like, after 5 steeps the next day, I want to have a different tea. Yeah, and in terms of, you know, what do I prefer, loose leaf or tea bag? I do a mix. I have a lot of loose leaf. I have a lot of tea bags. Like, I know people say loose leaf is way better than tea bags, and I can agree with that. But also, tea bags are very convenient, and they do have great flavors. There are so many bagged teas that I do love, like, or brands I love: Tazo, Celestial Seasonings, Tetley Twinings, Traditional Medicinals. They have a lot of nice teas. 4 O'Clock Tea has some good teas, although they also have like loose leaf too. I've had their 4 O'Clock loose leaf sampler before, and those teas are good. Although I do have like 3 more teas I gotta drink up. Those are getting pretty old. Excuse me. Yeah, and certain loose leaf tea brands I love: T2, David's Tea, Dessert by Deb. I do have a lot of David's Tea. I do like Teavana tea. I do have a decent amount of Teavana teas. And those are, I feel like a lot of people in the David's Tea fan group are like, I gotta drink up my Teavana teas, because that company has been closed since 2017. Although you can still get the Teavana sachets from Starbucks, but most of them are like the the classic flavors: Jade Citrus Mint, Peach Tranquility, Emperor's Clouds of Mist, English Breakfast Earl Grey Chai, and there's another tea, I think. Yeah, so I've definitely changed. I have like preferences. Like when you first become a tea drinker, you kind of do whatever. But now, like, I think I've been a tea drinker since like, I've kind of always drank tea, but not really that much when I was younger because my grandmother was a big Orange Pico fan, so she drank like 3 cups of Orange Pico Red Rose every day, which a lot of grandmothers do. I still have a lot of Orange Pico, and I do like Orange Pico, but right now, like when I focus on a tea, I really focus on it, unless I'm just kind of getting bored and I want to change it up. But right now, I'm trying to finish up a matcha. I'm finishing up an herbal tea bag box. And I'm also trying to like drink up those little samples or trying the teas I haven't actually tried yet and open. I'm really liking the Vidam tea sampler. And I want to finish tins. Like, I just want to finish up some of my tins, because some of my tins only have like 50 grams of tea left in it. So I would love to drink those up. I just really want to, drink up like majority of my tea before I buy tea, because I would love to buy tea, but right now I'm like, okay, I don't really need to buy tea, and I don't want to spend money on tea when I can just enjoy the tea that I have. Favorite tea right now? Oh, like I said, I'm kind of focusing on one tea or certain teas right now. I always love green tea. I think I try to have green tea every day. I'm still kind of in the black tea mode right now. Herbals. I do love herbals. Like, for nighttime, I like doing like maybe an herbal chai or like raspberry leaf or tulsi or chamomile and lavender, and those teas are nice, but I'm not totally in the mood for that right now. I still have some like chamomile teas I'd like to drink up, but for right now I'm slowly wanting to go back into drinking fruity teas, like fruity herbal teas, because I have a lot of fruity herbal teas that I'd like to drink up, because some of them I'm just really craving right now. So, but the herbal tea that I'm working on, I only have like 4 more tea bags, so I'll be done that, and then drinking up, whatever herbal tea I can, or fruity herbal tea I can drink up. And, dessert teas are always welcome in my collection. Like, chocolatey, a hot chocolate from David's Tea, very good. Like cotton candy from David's Tea is good. Yeah, just a mix. I'll drink any tea. I love trying new teas. I'm, trying to try more brands, local and not local, I guess. I love, like, when you travel, I love trying, like, new teas. Kind of getting a tea from each trip, or even, like, the hotel teas. But yeah, so I think this was a good video. It was wasn't totally planned out, but it's kind of like, okay, when you think of how you evolve of being a tea drinker, that's why I think, like, do you still leave your tea bags in? Do you oversteep? Do you know how much to steep for, a temperamental tea? Are there teas that you didn't like then, but you love now? There's not really, I'm a person that loves, like, many teas. Like, maybe I might not love it, but I'll still drink it. But there's not really tea I don't like. Licorice root is an ingredient that I'm not a big fan of, but I'll still drink it. And especially if it's not as noticeable, I'll probably enjoy it. But yeah, I definitely have evolved being, don't oversteep. Change up. Don't feel like you have to drink the same tea every day. Like, if you want to drink just peachy from David's Tea instead of peach tranquility from Teavana. I mean, those were pretty similar teas. But if if you're really wanting to finish up an old black tea, but you really just want to try a new black tea that you just bought, do it. I find when trying to sit down, that kind of be tough, where you really want to finish a tea, but maybe you're just not in the mood for that tea. There are definitely some days, like last night, I drank a different herbal tea because I just didn't totally want to drink the herbal tea that I'm sipping down. So I had a fruity tea from Honey and Sons. So don't force yourself to have a tea that you don't want. Like, for me, I love finishing up tea. So even if there's a tea that I don't really like, I'll still try to sip it down. But if I don't want that tea for that one day, I don't have to make myself drink that tea, because odds are if you're forcing yourself to drink up a tea that you really don't like, switch it up or give it to a friend. I'm not I love my teas and I don't really like partying with my teas, but occasionally, like, for a gift, I'll include some tea bags, or yeah, like if you visit your friend, maybe you give them some tea bags. I'll do that sometimes. Or I mean, sometimes my mom will ask me for some tea bags, so I'm like, okay. But in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to, but I will. It's not like I'm giving big, amounts of tea, but a couple of sachets, I'm like, okay, that's okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm a little protective of the teas I have. It's probably very lame, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Maybe you feel the same way, and hopefully some of my tips have helped you. We all learn. I mean, there's so much about tea that I probably don't know, but I do have the majority of tea types, I think. I have so many tea brands and so many different types of tea. Like, I have a mushroom tea. I have raspberry leaf. I have, pu'er. So, and I've tried a lot of teas too. And of course, I've tried like tea lattes and iced teas. I don't make iced tea or tea lattes at home. I mean, if I was at like a cool cafe, maybe I might try like a iced tea. But I don't. I love hot tea. So even in the summertime, I'll be drinking hot tea. But if I go to a cool restaurant, maybe I might try a tea drink. But yeah, hopefully you like this video, and if you're interested in doing this video, sure. Call it your tea evolution, or your tea evolution, I guess. Yeah, because I like hearing about how people started. Like me, I started, I guess having my grandmother always drinking tea, she'd probably make some of it for me. I remember at my babysitter's house, I would have some tea, and I used to have like milk and sugar in my orange pico because it was very strong. But now I'm like, I do black, straight, like no milk, no sugar. The first time I went to David's Tea, I don't think I really know. Like, there are some teas that I could have bought then that I would have been able to try, but I didn't because I was, young, and I didn't have my own money, basically. I mean, I probably had some money just from like special occasions, but it's not like I had like my own money to use, really. So it wasn't like I could go crazy. But when I first started off at David's Tea, I got like a couple of teas here and there. My sister had some teas, and yeah, and like once I got my first job, I kind of started buying more teas, and like going to the grocery store, I love seeing the new tea bags they have, or bagged teas. But it just depends, like, what was your first company that you checked out? Who was the person that really helped you like tea? I think it was kind of mixed, because my mom would sometimes buy us tea for like a present or something, like in our stockings. And that was like really near the start where I wasn't totally obsessed with tea. But I think it helped that my grandmother was a big tea fan, and that my sister likes tea, and my parents like tea. So now I'll have tea with my parents. Although sometimes I don't really want to make tea for more than one person, so I'll just make tea for myself. Because I don't drink tea often, but usually I'll ask them if they want some tea, and then we'll share. But yeah, so who is the person that started you onto liking tea? What was the first company you liked? Are there things that you used to do, how you made tea that you don't do now, or that you would never do then, but you do now? Yeah, so comment down below if you do a video of this, or answer these questions. Yeah, down in the comments below, and like this video, because maybe this is gonna be a popular video that everyone does. I've always thought it'd be cool to start a video, but a video trend. So hopefully you're having a great day. Enjoy your cup of tea, and I'll see you next time. Bye.